Hello, this is Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer.
Welcome home. Soar into tower. We are ready for takeoff.
Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Hey, it's Amy from DVC Clubhouse.
Hey Clubbers, it's Scott from DVC Clubhouse.
Hey, it's Kathleen from DVC Clubhouse.
Welcome aboard. It's Phil from DVC Clubhouse.
Hey, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Debrief Podcast brought to you by DVC Clubhouse. This is Amy, joined as always by my co-hosts Phil, Scott, and Kathleen. Can you please get that off of the screen?
Hey, guys.
Hi guys.
Welcome aboard, guys. For those listening at home, Scott was showing us some raw footage of Amy belting out some classic hit at karaoke from the looks of it.
I
Yes.
don't believe she knew I was taking that video until just now.
I couldn't hear it, so
Is that going to make the page? Please tell me that's going to make the page.
I didn't put the volume up, but you're a 10 out of 10 with your vocals.
oh, thanks.
How
Was
was
it
your
Pink Pony
weekend,
Club?
guys?
No, it wasn't.
It was somebody else. You were singing with somebody else. They were up on stage.
So our weekend was
All
a
right,
lot of
I'll
fun,
ask
Phil. Thanks for
again.
asking.
Yeah, how was your weekend?
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of late nights. It was exhausting. I got back late on Monday night, and yesterday was a little bit slow going for me, I have to admit.
Scott and Kathleen, your commute was a little less than that. How are you guys doing?
Didn't it feel like we were in Disney for like a week?
We stayed at Boardwalk for 3 nights, and I felt like when we were checking out, we were there a week or more.
We maximized the time. I mean, up at 5:30, 6 o'clock, and in bed at sometimes, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning for the night that we had the party.
Yeah,
So you
was
really
tired.
did cram a week into it, for goodness sake.
we did.
Yeah, we did a lot of things. Sleeping a lot was not one of the things, but we did. We had a really, really good time. So, I mean,
Well, I wasn't there, so run me through it. How did Clubhouse Weekend go?
all right. So we started the weekend. We all I stayed at Boardwalk. Kathleen and Scott were staying in Boardwalk. So when I got there, they had already been there, and Kathleen had already purchased a bunch of the new DVC merch that had hit the Screen Door General Store that day. So
I saw that. Were you even checked in before you were buying merch? Like you walked through the door and suddenly I saw posts up on the page of you just merchandising for Disney right out in the boardwalk.
We didn't even have our room yet.
Literally the first stop we made, the general store. And
I wasn't expecting anything new, but when I did see it, I'm like, oh,
I've been very unlucky lately by suggesting that we go into stores rather than just walking down the boardwalk like we were going to. Or another example is we were at Magic Kingdom one day. We wanted to walk down Main Street, just walk down Main Street, but instead I wanted to walk through the Emporium. And we ended up finding like 3 things new.
well, as soon as I showed him the new merch, he's like,
It was
just
the
get it
face.
over with now.
It was the
Just
face.
get it all.
That's exactly what I said. I said, just get it over
Break
with
out the
now.
credit card and hope it doesn't melt.
Just rip the Band-Aid off now. I don't want to be dealing with this for the next 6 months. And we did, let me tell you. What did you get? You got a mug, you got a tumbler, you got a shirt,
Spirit jersey.
spirit jersey. What else? Oh, you got a bag.
Bag.
You got a lug bag.
And I got a luggage tag. Yeah, I liked it.
I do too. I'm glad they came out with the
Clearly.
new stuff. Yeah, they had the same old stuff like all the time. So I'm glad they came out with some new stuff.
so I arrived, I guess, shortly after they had finished their shopping, and we had a 12:30, I think it was a 12:30 reservation at Wine Bar George. I had called and I had reserved that private room that they have that seats 10. And so did we take the bus over? Or no, the 3 of us took the bus over. On the way over, Shelly was staying at the beach club, so she was on the bus that we got on, and she was eating with us. So we got there, we met up with Cindy, Joe, Joey, and Jess, the Savino family, and then Emily and Jacqueline. And so we all had lunch at Wine Bar George, which was a lot of fun because we had that private room to ourselves, and the Savinos had never eaten there, so it was their first time, and it's great. I mean, Wine Bar George is always a winner in my book, and that room was just perfect. So, I mean, Kathleen had even said to me afterwards, she's like, "We should do this every year. Kick off the week with lunch at Wine Bar George in that back room." But that was a lot of fun. And actually, as we were waiting at the bus stop for the bus to come for Disney Springs, I got the notification that my room was ready. I was staying in a standard view studio at the Boardwalk for the first 2 nights, and then the last night I moved over to the Grand Villa. But when we got back from Wine Bar George, I was able to go to my room and take a nap because I had a super early flight that day. So I took a bit of a nap, and later that day so the plan was to meet at Finn's to kind of have like a kickoff meetup at like 5:30, but that kind of like didn't really happen because everyone was eating dinner at that time, and even the people who came for one drink but then had dinner plans. So we ended up going to
Blue Zoo.
Todd English's Blue Zoo at the Dolphin. We met up at Finn's, but then we went down and we had dinner with the three of us. Had dinner with Dewey and Patrice, who are two members of the Clubhouse Facebook group that I had actually met immediately after starting Clubhouse at the Gurgling Suitcase at Old Key West, and we were all of us. They were checking out. I was checking out, but our flights weren't until later, so we were just getting a drink at and I invited them to join the group, and they're so fun. So we went and we had dinner with them at Blue Zoo, which just kind of made me laugh, Phil, because we talked a lot about Blue Zoo recently after going to the Food and Wine Classic, that it was so good there. And I got the seared scallops over short ribs, and it was delicious. I mean, I think that I
That
liked
makes
what
me
I got
happy.
better than anybody else liked. Yeah, and I got a salad too that was delicious.
We have a conference in Orlando in January, and it is, for now, my last conference as chairman. I'll probably be back as chairman in a year, but that argument is yet to be had. But as my final board dinner as chairman, they asked where I wanted to go. And I said, I want to go across to Blue Zoo because we're staying at the Wyndham by Disney Springs. I said, get us a bus, and I want to go to Blue Zoo for dinner. The last time we were there, I think we cleared out 3 seafood towers and then had dinner. So it makes me happy to know that that restaurant is back up to par.
Well, I will tell you, it was empty. And that's the one thing, like it was our kind of our last choice. We ended up there because every other restaurant at the Swan and Dolphin was packed and that one was empty. So there was that. But I mean, my scallops and short rib dish was delicious, and I got a salad that was really good. But I don't know, Kathleen and Scott, you can talk about what you got.
What did you get?
I got Caesar salad.
I thought you got shrimp too or something.
Yeah, I got shrimp cocktail for an appetizer, and it was 4 jumbo shrimp they were paired with a different sauce. Like there was a wasabi, there was a honey mustard, there was a cocktail sauce, and then I can't remember what the other one was. That was delicious.
I mean, I got wings. They weren't that good, but I'm getting wings at Blue Zoo, so you really can't expect much.
They were spicy.
They were very spicy. I'm not a seafood person, so that was like the only thing on the menu that I was willing to eat.
Wasn't Blue Zoo like the star of their food and wine? Like
Yeah.
the
It
booth
was
that
one of them. Yeah, we sat there and talked to Todd English for probably a half hour. It was what what did they have? There was a fish, and I don't remember what the fish was that Blue Zoo had. Amy, do you recall?
I don't remember what it was, but it was so good.
It was solid.
Yeah, I kept going back. I think I went back to that booth like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, that was definitely the standout of that festival. But after we finished dinner, I mean, we didn't linger long because then we wanted to get over to Kimonos at the Swan because we were going to do karaoke, and we wanted to get over there a little early because there was going to be a lot of us. So we wanted to be able to make sure that we could all grab a table together. And in years past, we've had some iffy experiences with the wait staff there feeling kind of annoyed by us, but they were totally pleasant and delightful and accommodating that night. So that was great. I mean, I think there were about 18 of us maybe that
Yeah,
night.
about 18.
There were a lot of us there. Yeah. And so some people got food, most people got some drinks, and many, I wouldn't say the majority sang karaoke, but a bunch of us sang karaoke. We heard some guy that got up saying this weird version, and we got excited because his name came up, and you could see on the screen that he was going to sing Ice Ice Baby, and we all started. We were all like, "All right, stop!" But then we like literally stopped dead because we were like, "What is this guy singing?" Because it was this like slow jazzy version of like acoustic coffee house version of Ice Ice Baby. It was so weird. It was kind of like the buzzkill of the night.
How does that even work? I'm kind
Yeah,
of
it doesn't
work.
It doesn't work.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot better. I'm trying to harmonize this in my head, and it's just not working out for me here.
No.
Just picture very relaxing, like Amy said, like coffee house music, and it's just like ice, baby.
Like Barry Manilow takes on Ice Ice Baby. I cannot see this.
All right, stop. Collaborate and listen. Like, it was the weirdest thing ever.
It was
and
so strange.
I felt uncomfortable listening to it.
Well, and it was such a letdown because we all were excited. We're like, oh, good. Like, we were excited to sing along to it. And then that came on, and we were like, all right. Like, people were getting up to go to the bathroom. Like, that was everyone's cue to get up and do something else.
How did he even know that version even existed? Like, you have to pick, like, a certain version of the song on the app. I didn't even know that was a thing.
He had to have.
And he knew, like, how to sing it the right way.
Yeah. That was weird. But, I mean, we ended up closing kimonos down, which was, I don't know, 11:30ish, I guess, was around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
around
that's
the time
early.
that it.
I don't know. I feel like that's way too early. Like, if you're going to be sitting there, like, having food and drinks and everybody still like, there was still a queue of people that wanted to sing songs. And they're shutting it down. I think 11 o'clock is when they said last call.
Yeah, but I did get to do the final, unexpectedly do the final song of the night.
You did.
With Mandy.
Yep.
We did For
Okay,
Good.
Mandy has now come up twice. Can someone please explain to me who Mandy is?
I think Amy should explain that. She would probably have the best.
Well, so Mandy was so Phil, you've been in kimonos?
Negative.
Okay, so when you walk into kimonos, it is a very long and narrow restaurant. It's like you walk in and the bar is like way at the other end, and it's kind of separated into 3 sections. And so every year that we've done this, so now this was the third Clubhouse Weekend, and this is the 3rd year that we have gone and done karaoke at kimonos. We basically get the middle row of tables that extend from where the karaoke stage is all the way back to where the bar is. And then there's seats on either side of us. And then there's like walls on either side of that, then also have tables on that side. But the majority of the people who are doing karaoke are in this middle section. And so one of the tables next to us, there was a couple sitting, and she was singing along, loudly to every song, which, I mean, no shade there. So do I. But I don't even remember what she got up. What song did she sing? I forgot. She sang a solo, and I can't remember what it was, but we were all singing along with her because when she got up, she was like, "Please sing with me. I'm so nervous." But then, I don't know. She wanted to sing For Good from Wicked, and she was like, "Will you sing this with me?" And so at this
Making
point,
friends.
they had stopped. Well, yes. But they had stopped taking requests. And so I was like, Mandy, it's not going to happen. They have stopped taking requests. But the people at the end, like the last couple of people who were going to be closing out the night, they had left. So the woman who was running karaoke said, if these people don't show up, then I can let you guys sing this song. So So lo and behold, they left. Mandy wanted to be Glinda. She told me I could be Elphaba. And we're singing the song. And the thing that was like weird about karaoke this year was that the music was really soft. It was kind of like really difficult to hear the music. And so I was having trouble hearing when it was like my turn to come in. And when so I missed like the beginning part of my song, and Mandy turned to me and she was like, Elphaba, keep up. She yelled. She I was like, sorry, Glinda. But anyway, we sang this duet and we all had a good laugh about it. But anyway. And and it was like weird because they called last call at 11, which it felt a little bit early to even go to Bellevue and be able to have like one more drink. Cause I was like, if we could just go and like, but everything, Disney, everything closes at Disney so early. So that was that. That was the first day. The first day was kind of like a bust at Finn's because most people had dinner, but karaoke was a great time. And then the next day was the day that we were supposed to be going to Hollywood Studios. And we did go, but I somehow thought that I had put 2 p.m. on the agenda and I really put 3 p.m. And so we went to Tune In Lounge and we have a group chat and I like update everybody about, where we're going to be. And so I'm texting everyone. It was a little bit, it was before 2 o'clock when we got there, but I'm texting everyone to say, okay, we're here heading over to Tune In, and nobody was responding. So I said to Kathleen, I was like, I think that next year, like we should just skip a park during the day because I don't think the people want to come. And then all of a sudden at like 3 o'clock, we're getting and it was really, really hot and humid. And so we basically we went to Tune In, had a drink. We went to Baseline Tap House and got, pretzel and a charcuterie. And then at that point we were like, let's just go. It's so hot. It's so humid. Let's just go back to Bellevue Lounge where we can sit in air conditioning because nobody's here anyway. Well, we were literally at the boat and we were getting texts. Okay, we're here. Going to meet you at Tune In. And I was like, why is everyone showing up at Tune In now? And Kathleen was like, well, because now is when it was supposed to start. I was like, oh, I thought it was supposed to start at 2
Oops.
o'clock and now we've left. So whoopsie. But everyone was a good sport. They all met us at the boat. We took the boat over to Boardwalk. We went to Bellevue Lounge and we sat and we rearranged furniture in Bellevue Lounge to accommodate all of us who were there. And we hung out there until it was time to go over to Riverside to see Yeehaw Bob. And that was a ton of fun. We closed down River Roost also. And there were, I think, about 15 of us there.
Okay, so while we're on Yeehaw Bob, give me the backstory on the whole DVC Playhouse because I caught the reference, but I clearly wasn't there.
That was Bob messed up our name. I think he
meant to.
He went around and asked everybody, like, if there was any birthdays or anniversaries or special events or occasions. And we said, we had our big meetup, DVC Clubhouse. And then I think he got halfway through a song and he was shouting out to some of the people that had special things going on. And he said, DVC Playhouse is in the house.
Which is a whole different connotation.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
yes.
Yes. So as you can imagine, we all started making jokes about what DVC Playhouse was going to be, and that was the after dark version of Clubhouse turns into Playhouse. So, but it was great because we had we were sitting right in the front. We got there 2 hours before he went on. We got food and we wanted to be, front and center. And it was great because he called on Dewey and Patrice and Kathleen and Dominic, and Joe, they all, to participate. And, first of all, you got to know Joe. Joe is he's what, like an electrician he grew up in New York. He's like got like this like thick Brooklyn accent or something. And they pull him up to do head, shoulders, knees, and toes with Kathleen and some other people whose birthdays were, around that time. And it was hilarious. I mean, he was absolutely hilarious. And then a little bit later in the show, Bob has, told us all to do our best Tarzan yell. And he was not impressed. And he was like, show him Dewey, and Dewey, again, the the guy that I met at the gurgling suitcase, he stands up and he does this Tarzan yell, like from the depths of his soul. It was hilarious.
Yeah, so a little background on Dewey and Patrice. They
Thank you, because clearly I missed a step in the
No.
progress here.
No, they know Yeehaw Bob personally. So they've been going to see him for years and years. They're really good friends with him. They're good friends with the bartenders at River Roost. So they know. So I think they reach out to, Bob when they're coming. He knows when they're coming. They're on first name basis with each other. So he's always calling on Dewey. And we've been to Yeehaw Bob with Dewey and Patrice before, and I think it's just Dewey's thing, that the Tarzan yell, and he does it very well. And, if you get Dewey and then Scott chimes in, and it's like, I don't think anybody can hear anything over Scott's mouth and Dewey's mouth doing the Tarzan.
I legit had no voice the next day.
You never do. Every time we go there, you don't have a voice.
No voice at all.
You know what the problem was? You did not have Swedish swimmers as a restorative for your voice.
Well, I needed something because I woke up the next day and I had nothing. My voice was completely shot the next morning.
Yeah, well, between karaoke and then Yeehaw Bob, I was so hoarse too. But yeah, so we ended up staying at River Roost until River Roost. Well, Kathleen and Scott left a little early. I stayed there with Patrice and Dewey and Jacqueline and Curtis. And Jacqueline and Curtis drove me home, and I like back to Boardwalk before they went on. They live locally, so they dropped me at Boardwalk. And when they dropped me off, there was a fantasy convention happening at Atlantic Dance Hall. So we pull up, and the theme was fantasy gods. And so we pull up, and there's all of these people dressed in these like out there costumes. And I said to them, I was like, is this what it feels like to do acid? Like, what the hell is happening here? So I walked up to them after I got out of the car, and I said to them, like, why are you guys all dressed up? Because although it's Halloween season, there was not a party that night. So we couldn't figure out why these people were dressed
This
up,
is
and
just
they
their
told us.
regular evening wear.
Yeah. They said, well, it's the fantasy ball. And I guess they have them fairly regularly, and there's a different theme to them when they have them. But I was wearing my mini ears, and one of the guys said to me, so are you a mouse deity? I was like, you know what I am? Up way too late. I gotta go to bed. I don't know what's happening here. So that was a sight to behold.
Yeah.
And then the next day I checked out of my room. We went to Epcot for a little while. And did some of the new food and wine booths, but it started pouring rain while we were there, so we ended up leaving when there was a break in the rain, and that was the day that we were checking into the Grand Villa. So we got the Grand Villa shortly after we got back from Epcot, and went up to this Boardwalk Grand Villa, which spans, like, it feels like 6 balconies worth of, and it's one giant balcony with this amazing view of the boardwalk. It was absolutely incredible. Cindy and Joe, their family, rented it. They invited me to come and stay in it with them. And that's where we had the party. And, Derek and Carrie from DVC Resale Market, they provided all of the food and drinks. And we had a great time there too. I mean, it's so fun. People get excited to be able to say that, they've been to a Grand Villa, to check it out. Now, like, this is our 3rd year. So the first year we did a cabin at Copper Creek. Last year we did the Grand Villa at Jumbo House. And this year was at Boardwalk. So it's fun to be able to go and spend time in these units that you wouldn't otherwise be able to, because they cost
Right.
so many points. And we met some new people. There was, Amy Jameson from DVC Clubhouse came with her cousin and her husband, Patrick Hastings, and Karen, his wife, and their 5 kids came. And that was the first time we met them. And he posted something really, really lovely on the Facebook group, just saying what a great time he had. And it felt like, it brought a whole like new meaning to welcome home, because it just, we're in this Grand Villa. Everyone is so super friendly, just having a great time. We had a ton of food. They catered food from Publix. We had sandwiches and popcorn chicken and cookies and wine and beer and cider. And
I just want to take a quick second because we glossed over that. Derek has been so wonderful to our entire group. All the sponsoring of the clubhouse meetups and the food and the drink and sharing DVC Clubhouse on his own podcast. So just a huge shout out to them because that means an awful lot to us. We are a very small concern here. We don't have a lot of bills, but we do pay to keep the podcast up and all the time that's invested into it. So just that support from them is super huge. So I just, even though I wasn't there, want to offer a giant shout out to them because I think that just shows the kind of community that we have here. And they are just so generous in sponsoring us. So just thank you for that.
Definitely.
Definitely. Very much appreciated.
yeah. And he brought his bucket hats, which are always a big hit.
You know what? I haven't received a bucket hat. So you know what, Derek? Never mind. I'm taking all my thank yous back.
I'm sure he would mail you one.
I'm sure he would.
But I mean, that was the night we didn't go to bed until like 2:00 in the morning. Once everyone left, then we cleaned up and that's the hard part because you go to bed late and then you have to be out of the room by 11 next day. It's like we didn't get into the room until so you have it for less than 24 hours. And then we do this, castle picture that we've been doing. We've been doing it at 11. We're going to make it later on for next Clubhouse because it's just hard for people, on a day that you're checking out, you want to be able to stay in your room to get there by 11. So we're going to do the castle meetup in next year at 12:30 so that people can stay in their room until they're being kicked out of it and then head over to Magic Kingdom. But that it's fun. It's a lot of fun to we meet up at that green area that's right next to the plaza, and there's a photo pass photographer there, and that's always where we get our picture taken. And it's fun because then we get to look at the group as it changes and evolves over the years, looking at that picture. And I mean, we had 40 people come to the clubhouse, to the Grand Villa party, and there were 15 of us at the picture. And then 14 of us went over to Beacon Barrel. We were able to get reservations to accommodate 14 of us. And it just so happened that there were 14 there who were able to go. And I have to give out a shout out to Glenn Davis too, because we only had a reservation for 12, and Glenn and his family were supposed to come to Clubhouse Weekend, but they ended up getting 2 puppies, so they had to cancel. But he reached out to me over the weekend and said that he had 3 reservations, one on Saturday, one Sunday, one Monday, and did we want them? And so Jennifer and her daughter took one of the reservations on Saturday, and we took one of the reservations on Monday, which is how we were able to accommodate the 14. So that was just super nice of him and super thoughtful to, reach out and to let us use those reservations. So we went to Beacon Barrel. And then after that, we kind of said our goodbyes. I ended up going back, Kathleen Scott and I got on a bus with Cindy and Joe, and because they had to check out of the Grand Villa and they were checking into a studio at the Boardwalk. So we all went back to Boardwalk, and Kathleen and Scott grabbed their bags and headed home. And I sat in Bellevue Lounge with Cindy until it was time for, I think their room was ready. And then I wanted to get something to eat. So it was like kind of rainy. So I ended up just going over to Cake Bake, which was not my first choice, but I didn't want to get stuck in the rain walking over to Yacht Club. So I had a burger at the bar, and I ended up sitting next to Skip from the Disney Day Drinkers Club, when they were there testing the new secret menu that they launched at Cake Bake this weekend. So I chatted with him. I tasted one of the new drinks, so that was kind of. And then after that, I just headed to the airport, where I had a extremely turbulent flight and didn't get home until 12:30 in the morning. And then dragged all day yesterday because when you're 49, that's what happens.
Yeah.
You don't bounce back like you did when you were 25.
No.
Well, it
No.
sounds like you guys had an amazing time.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, You said to me the other day that, you had like every year it just keeps getting better,
I said this was my favorite year. I think every year is great, but this was my favorite one so far. And they just keep getting better and better. I mean, I know when this group was started, it was meant to be, community. It was meant for people to meet. We all have that, that like of Disney Vacation Club. That's the common denominator, but it's just so nice to see the effort that people put in. I mean, this is people's vacation, that they plan specifically for this weekend. People from the West Coast, people from the East Coast, people from, Wisconsin, all over the country. And it's just amazing, that when everybody gets together like that, we just had a hell of a good time. I mean, that's just the best way to put it. We all got together and had a hell of a good time. And I don't know. I'm just thankful to be part of the group, and I'm thankful for everybody that came. And like I said, it just every year it seems like it just keeps getting better and better.
I think that the reason why it also just feels like it's getting better and better is because now we know people well. We've hung out with them a bunch. We have formed relationships with them outside of the meetups. And so when we come together, we're excited to see each other, and it just it 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 just enhances the experience, because like the first year was fun because it was exciting. We'd never done it before. We were meeting people from the Facebook group for the first time. And, now we have people like Judy and her daughter Kate come every year. Last year, Dominic and Cindy from the group came for the first time, and they came again this year. And last year, they could only come for the first night, but this time they were around for a couple nights. And then, Patrice and Dewey came last year. They were here again. And then, of course, Joe and Cindy, they've been here all 3 years. Jacqueline and Curtis, Emily, it's just Shelly. It's these people that come every year, and it's exciting to be able to come together as a group and just have fun together and experience Disney, which is something we all love, with people who have become our friends through the it just is. I agree, Scott. I think this year it felt even better than previous years, but I think it's just the more we do it, the more these relationships, it's like we're getting back together. It really does feel kind of like a reunion where we're getting back together with people who we've had so much fun with. Because in between, like in between Clubhouse Weekend last year and this year, we had a holiday meetup, we had the spring fling, we had the Disneyland meetup, and we've seen Cindy and Joe and and Joey at all of those meetups. So it's fun. It gives us an opportunity to see people that share something with us that we love so much. So yeah, so I'm just so grateful that people are as excited about the events and the group, as I am, because it really makes it a lot of fun.
I was
Yes.
legit sad for it to end. Like legit, like punch in the gut sad that it ended because I really enjoyed the entire weekend that much. I mean, I felt like it was a weekend geared towards my favorite things. I mean, obviously, I love Fins, I love Yeehaw Bob, and then just to have that Grand Villa at the Boardwalk, it was already going to be just an exciting time just based on the itinerary. But getting together and having such a great time, we had a good turnout each night. It was just like I said, I was sad. Like I was so sad. We were at Magic Kingdom, and it was almost like like damn, like it's gonna be like we have the little events in between, but they're not quite as big. I don't think as many people participate in those. But it was just a hell of a time. Like I said, shout out again to Cindy, Joe, Joey, and Jessica for getting the Grand Villa. Derek and Carrie again. It wouldn't be the same without those guys providing the food and everything that they do. But to everybody again, like I said, that made the effort to take time out of your busy lives, and we all know what that's like. We all have things that are going on. Our lives are crazy, but you took time out of your life to come down and be a part of this family and to experience these things with us. So many stories, even from this weekend, about, Tom McPherson was a great example of the things that he had to
Oh,
go through
yeah.
just to make it to Clubhouse Weekend.
Nothing was stopping him.
No, I mean, that's a whole other story, but he had just quite an ordeal of the travel to get here. But, shout out to those who made it and, it just made it that much more special. And, you know, we had a great time, and I can't wait for next year.
When I got to do a duet at karaoke with Sean Hansen, that was fun. And I saw Jennifer Hansen laugh harder than I've ever seen her laugh at the Grand Villa party.
Yes.
Yeah, Jennifer was having a good time at the Grand Villa party for sure. But yeah, I got to do, Amy said she got to do the duet with Sean, and I got a surprise duet with Patrice. We did Burnin' Love by Elvis, and I was not expecting it, so it was kind of an impromptu, like, hey, you're doing this. But it was so much fun. I don't think, like, my face was, like, my face hurt by the end of the weekend because I was laughing so much.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Definitely at Yeehaw Bob, I felt like I was like, I don't know how much longer I can stay here because if I smile or laugh anymore, like my face is gonna my jaw muscles were like gonna break. So I mean, yeah, so that one's in the books. I posted this morning, I think it was this day. This has been a long day. I can't remember if it was today or yesterday. We posted next year's dates are going to be the 26th through the 29th of September again, but it's going to be a shift from Saturday to Tuesday instead of Friday to Monday. So we put those details out on the Facebook group. So anybody who is interested, you know, head over to Facebook. You can check out those details. If you can't make it for Clubhouse Weekend, or if you can't wait until Clubhouse Weekend, we've got our holiday reunion happening on December 16th at Victoria Falls Lounge at 4 p.m. We have a Spring Fling meetup. I think that's on May 8th at Martha's Vineyard at the Beach Club. We're doing another Disneyland meetup on May 24th. And then that brings us right back to Clubhouse Weekend. So, you know, if you want to join in on the fun, make sure you join the Facebook group. All of the details are listed there.
All right, that's a good enough place to close it because I'm not disclosing the dates of my upcoming trips. Are we ready to shut it down?
Yes.
Let's do it.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening, and thank you especially to all of our clubbers who showed up this weekend to join in all the fun with us. If you enjoy the podcast, you could head on over to Apple Podcast and give us a like or 5-star review. We would appreciate it. Amy?
As I said, join the Facebook group if you don't already. You can find us also on YouTube, where we just posted our video of the Grand Villa that we stayed in for the at the Boardwalk for the Grand Villa party. So Scott took a video. We got that up on the YouTube channel yesterday. We're on Instagram and sort of on TikTok. But until next time, we'll DVC you real soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.
And so our journey comes to an end.
Oh, no, please, can't we go back to page 1 and do it all over again?
Started this thing together, and that's how we'll finish it.
Because that, my friends, is where the magic lives.